today will be supply chain management, the value creator. Okay, so we're saying supply chain is not back office job. Okay, first thing. So be clear. And I think the first thing that all of us need to have here is passion for job. If we don't have passion for our jobs, I think we can go home from day one. If you go to work and wait for the day to get over, then I think we have lost. Because in my so many years of, I'm getting some echo, something wrong.
No.
In my so many years of service, I never felt at any time when I got up in the morning that I shouldn't go to work. And I think that is a blessing which I got. You know, it's also a blessing that you want to go to work. And now I like to share some of my experiences and knowledge. So what I'm presenting here will be the theory part, which most of you must be knowing. But along with that, we will discuss practical aspects. One is what is our scope, right? So we all know this. It's a set of activities: purchasing, manufacturing, logistics, distribution. And what is the objective? To deliver value to the end customer. Correct? So in your case, I assume 90% are hospital guys. So who is your end customer? Patient. Okay, sir. Patient. Some of the pharmacy guys who sell, they say the customer is the doctor. Okay, because the doctor is prescribing, correct? So he is the end customer. The patient is just an end user. But in your case, the patient is the customer. Now, second question. You are in hospital business. Okay. What kind of business are you in?
Service.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Everybody agrees? You're providing a service. You're not providing needles and tablets. You're providing a service. Okay, so be clear. So hospitality industry, the hotel. One is pharma, one is food. One is medical, one is food, but ultimately providing service. Okay, so that funda should be clear. What is our goal? So this is basically for the entire supply chain. So you produce, distribute the right quantity, right cost, right time, place. Okay, all that is fine. Very easy to talk. But red is with conflicting goals of various businesses. Every business has conflicting goals. So in a hospital, you will buy something based on projected demand. Correct? How will you buy? Either you buy on replenishment or you buy on projected demand. Can you project how many people are going to get sick, how many people are going to come to the hospital? You can't project. Okay. So from the purchasing point of view, you have to understand that we purchasing guys have to be quick. Okay, so we have to be, how you say in English, on the ball, right? In English football, you have to be there. So if you're behind, patient is in trouble. Correct. The patient is in trouble, the hospital has not a good name. So our job is to bridge the gaps, correct, between demand and supply. So supply chain in simple language is fulfillment of demand. Okay, so now oversimplify definition of supply chain. What is the meaning of fulfillment? Yeah, okay. More simple. Fulfillment means filling the demand in full. It's my definition, but you're filling the demand in full. If somebody wants a medicine, you can't give him half the quantity, correct? If he has 2 or 3 medicines, you can't give 2 out of 3. So fulfilling it in, it's full, demand in full. Okay? And at the time he needs it. You can't go after he dies. Sorry, I'm going to be very open and talking, but you are in hospital. You understand it's all critical. People don't come to the hospital for fun. Correct? So they come because it's critical. Okay. You go to a restaurant, if you don't have a Pepsi, you get a Coke or thumbs up. People may or may not take. Here you got to prescribe. You have to give whatever the doctor or surgeon prescribes. Okay, tomorrow they may say we don't have this drug, he'll give an alternate. That's another story. But primary purpose is to give what the hospital or the doctor or surgeon asks for. So questions are clear. What is required, when is required, okay, what kind of products you call, and how is it delivered. See, can I ask you, your job was procurement, Does it end when the product comes to your hospital or what? Up to? Your job includes patient as procurement guys. So it's supply chain, why you say procurement? So you are supply chain people, okay? So when you say procurement, it is only buying, okay? When your job is to ensure that it goes to the pharmacy or the stores, and then when it is issued, so issue also comes under your portfolio. So you are supply chain guys, correct? So you know what is the demand, you know what is issued, you know you got to replenish, correct? But do you get information of what type of patients are in the hospital at any time? That's the question. May or may not. So what kind of patient, what ailments, what is the potential demand? If a person comes for particular type of surgery, what are the requirements? So you can always make sure you have that material. Okay. So what are the objectives? One is of course minimize cost, which is understood. Okay. But you have to fulfill service level. So you have like a weighing scale. On one side you optimize cost, on the other side you have a service level. I think you use this turnaround time, right? I think you use this term. So the response time that every internal customer needs to fulfill that demand. Okay, whether it's in hours, in some cases could be hours, minutes, okay, days, weeks. One is also helps you to do better decision making. Correct? You decide what to buy, when to buy. If a particular brand is not available, you will ask, can I buy alternate? Okay. It can happen that a particular company doesn't have that particular brand. Okay. So you will ask if you can buy an alternate. Does that happen or not? Can happen, right? So the simple terms, in terms of manufacturing, this is the process. This is how it would look. You have a plan, a demand plan, material plan. You have a forecast. You have the materials requirement planning from there. You do MRP. You have any ERP systems in hospital? Sorry, my little lack of exposure in hospital. But you have ERP systems. What kind of system? It's an internal system or internal system. So basically you have a supplier who's outside. Okay, as far as you are concerned, you are the plant and warehouse because you're all in one. You get the material as well as you store the material. And then who handles the movement from your warehouse to the patient or to the OT? Are you also responsible for that? So you are responsible, correct? There are people to do it. So you have total responsibility to make sure it reaches the patient or the OT or wherever, correct? Excellent. So in this case, of course, there is no distributor because it goes straight to your clinic. And then you have order management. You place an order, how much order to place to your vendor, and to negotiate. Right? So depending on the volume, you will negotiate maybe long-term contracts or on spot basis, depending on the type of medicine you buy. Okay. So here you have three types of supply chain. One is strategic, okay, where the hospital define what kind of hospital. For example, if it's let's say Asian hospital, for example, specialty heart hospital. So you will define. You have different types of hospitals with different strengths. So that you are defining the type of hospital you are, and therefore you will there is a strategy which is done by the board of management. It's the type of hospital you are, and therefore everything will fall down based on the strategy. Then you have practical. What are the options I have? Whether I should buy from supplier A, supplier B, whether I should buy from manufacturer A or manufacturer B. Those options are available. And third is the operation, actually purchasing, storing, testing, all that will come under operation. And then you have all the four vertical functions of procurement up to distribution to the patient. Okay, there are some of the planning decisions that we take. It is a lot of words, but you decide how you select a supplier. So do you have option to select a supplier yourself or both? So you're free to buy from a manufacturer or distributor. Very good. So what is your preference? one is cash flow, correct? The other thing is price. Price, credit, and cash flow, correct?
There is a third part also.
Lead time. Lead time of the distributor is faster than manufacturer. Correct. Because he is maintaining stock. So, very silly question I'm asking you, but why doesn't the hospital maintain stock? Because it costs money. Inventory carrying cost. Okay, so another silly question. Which hospital gives credit terms to its patients? So, don't mind me, I'm asking. This is supply chain. So you're selling on cash, correct? You're not selling on credit. I'm using the word selling. Okay? Yes.
Company patients.
Insurance. So insurance take what? 1 month. Settle. That's good to know. So you have, when you sell, you have credit. You give credit, or you have to give credit. When you buy, you also want credit naturally. Okay, so you need both. So that's why you want to go to distributor. So ultimately, if I'm the patient, forget about others. Okay, I'm paying for that. Correct? All of us are paying for that. If we all reasonable, we are paying for that. So as an industry, within a pharma hospital, what can we as supply chain people do to reduce the cost for a customer without compromising the quality or service? That's our role. It's our role, it's our mission, it's our responsibility as healthcare professionals, whether you're in pharma, hospital, it's our role, correct? Affordable healthcare, absolutely. Affordable healthcare is our mission. I mean, this we cannot get away from it, okay? So if we have that, then profit, yes, everybody has to make some profit, everybody has to earn, I'm not saying. But if you can do the same thing with affordable healthcare, it's also you're serving the community, right? So the mode of shipment doesn't matter in this case because this is all to do with external supply chain. So you're mostly concerned once it comes to the hospital. Now you have hospital chains, correct? How many of you are in hospital chains here? So do you have central inventory or each hospital owns inventory? Central. Anybody else central? Hospital. So you all only central. And may I ask where the hospitals are located? All in Chennai. Oh, all in Chennai. So you have one central.
Is better?
One in? That's fine. Okay, but in Chennai you can maintain central. Others I think will be in different cities. So then it's difficult to move. So clear. So they are. See, this is also learning, correct? So in the case of this gentleman, they have hospitals in one city area. So therefore they have a central warehousing. So they will buy bulks, correct, get a better price and store it. You may not have to store so much. You store less because you can supply to number of hospitals. Whereas for others who are different hospitals, you can't keep moving products, healthcare all over the place. Okay, so it's clear. So each hospital or each company will have its own strategy. There's no right and wrong. Okay? It depends on your strategy. End of the day, it is cost and service. Correct? So here, as ma'am said, this is integrated supply chain. The traditional approach was that each department will work in silo. By silo means without talking to the next person. Hey, mera kaam nahi hai. Okay. And then, so each one was maintaining his own buffer. The planner would put a buffer. Nahi, this supplier is not good. Instead of 30 days, he takes 60 days to give. A payment late over, so he will not supply. All this goes on in the mind, not in the system. So he will order more, or he will order earlier. So he will go on buffering, and he will get more and more inventories at unwanted inventories at different stages. Everybody is doing the same. The doctor says, what if I get 2 patients instead of 1? So let me ask for more. Okay. The store said purchase is taking too long to get. So let me ask for some more. Purchase said supply is inefficient. Or I'm not paying in time. It happens. See, these are practices. Your system may not tell you all this. This is what happens when you do a traditional approach. Okay. So in the traditional approach, you have the hospital, You have the client on one side, and then you have the supplier on the other side. So we as supply chain have to go to the next level. Okay. So you need to know your supplier. For example, if you are buying from a distributor, you need to know what is happening in the manufacturer's end. Okay. Tomorrow, if you have a key product which you are buying from a distributor, then you know who is the manufacturer. And if the manufacturer has supply issues, you need to know. Okay. So you can be proactive. Instead of buying from manufacturer A, you will go to manufacturer B. But if you don't know that, and your scope of information is only the distributor, you may or may not be accurate. Because every distributor also doing his own business. He wants to sell. He has a relationship with you. You have a relationship with him, so he wants to sell. So he may or may not tell you the accurate information because he may not have stock, but the manufacturer could tell you. So in the new supply chain, you must have connect with your supplier. Okay. Otherwise, myopic. Okay. I got a demand. You're a processor. Then you become a processor. I got a demand. This product. Okay. Order banao. One page. You know how it is. Correct. So that is very small. That's not integrated supply chain. Okay. You are just doing processing. So we need to go to supplier to understand what's happening to the long-term basis. Here, this is a typical push and pull. Okay, I'm trying to concise a lot of information in 1 hour, so I will be going a little quick. But like you understand, in a hospital or in any business, sometimes we try to push a product because it has inventory. How will you push? You say, I don't have this product, I will give something else equivalent. If you go to a chemist to buy, I don't have this product, I'll give you this. For whatever reason, we don't know. Maybe he gets more commission. Okay, possible. So similarly, if you have extra stock of a product, you may like to push it. So, but in the real supply chain, it's pull. Pull means demand is pulling. Okay. Pushing means if I'm selling toothpaste, Pepsi, buy one get one free, that's push. Can't do that in hospital, right? So you need to understand, and I'm sure some of you are aware that when it comes to certain surgeries, say knee replacements, for example. Anybody, any hospital doing knee replacements? Okay. So that is one of the most complex supply chains for the supplier. Okay. I don't know. I don't take name of the company. So supplier will send 4 or 5 or 10 sets of knee replacements with 10 sets of tools to fit. Okay, and at the time of surgery, the surgeon will decide which set to open and he will use that. Okay, so these are different level of supply chain. See the inventory. So 10 sets are coming, 9 are coming back. So, and sometimes they will send a technician along with the set because he knows better than the person in the lockdown. So this is a different level of supply chain. So what kind of service level you are getting from that particular vendor, manufacturer, you need to understand. Okay. So you as a doctor will prescribe because the doctor will say I want this particular brand, and of course he is kind of a customer in that sense who will decide which brand to use. So you as a purchaser will be under pressure to buy that brand, correct? Because he says use this company brand, this product. So you will get 8 or 10 and you will get it. But in some cases, if they don't have 8 or 10 and he has only 2, then the doctor may say buy from another brand. So these, you have to be in constant contact with the doctor in this case. The doctor is just sending messages, no, he doesn't have time. So it's quite difficult to understand how you have to go to the, you need to have a connect with the doctor. It's not easy. It's not easy. The doctor says, "मेरे पास time नहीं है ना, who are you?" See, doctors have their own way of working, correct? They are professionals, they think differently. They are not concerned about the administration. The hospital administration is not their problem. They are concerned about the surgery, the treatment, and they assume everything is working. They assume. Okay? And so, the supply chain guy has responsibility to make sure it works. But how can you make sure it works if you don't have a connect with the doctors or a department? So my suggestion is we as supply chain professionals must make efforts to have meetings with doctors, not one-to-one. Have a session. Have the doctors, have a session. What are your needs, what are your demands? Use the top management to facilitate. You can't go yourself and do it. Use the top management. Have a session. What can you need? What is happening in the future? How will you know about the future of Medicare? Doctors know. You may know sometimes from a vendor, but ultimately vendor will go to the doctor because the doctor decides. Okay, so keep this aspect in mind. And everybody is a business partner. Your supplier is your partner, doctor is your partner. You don't have, doctor doesn't, not there, you are not there. Okay. So, simple words, I always call it, it's a free flow. Okay, it's a free flow. It's not in jugs, it's a flow. Demand is there, product is flowing. The moment it goes, you replace it. Okay. So, okay, I don't need to tell you what's in green, but you can read it. And probably it's quite topical today in Europe, you know what's happening. So, it's a lot about supply chain. We don't have food, we don't have equipment, we don't have ammunition, we don't have medical surgeons, the hospitals don't go in the front, people are dying. So, this is part of supply chain. So, once again, whether it's organization, hospitals, pharmacies, the real competition is the supply chain. Okay? You knew during COVID, the whole world, no exception, okay, was supply chain constraints. Factory, people didn't come to work, factory stopped. So you can't produce. See, that's how the importance of supply chain. So we need to understand our importance of our job. Okay, these are typical charts. I don't know whether they will share the presentation or not. But basically there are three things. One is financial flow, which is said. One has to come from customer, okay, and goes to supplier. Then material flows from supplier to customer. And third is most important, information flow both sides. Okay, information is to flow to supplier and to your customer. So if you say the doctor doesn't know what is not available in advance, he should know in advance, correct? What is not available. So this is how you have communication with your customer. He is the customer for you in this case because he decides what is required. So these three things all depend on the capacity, how much of storage space you have. Okay. So these are the four decisions which you make. One is the workflow. Okay. The other is you synchronize. Now I think you know better than me what is sync in a phone. Okay. I don't need to tell you what is syncing your phone. That is called synchronize. You sync it with the demand and supply should be synced. Okay. If it's not synced, you can't operate. The phone does it for you, but you always say sync your phone. Okay. Then you have information integration, and fourth is trust. Most people forget the trust factor. Trust, you got to trust your supplier, you got to trust your customer who's a doctor. So we will always complain, yeah, he doesn't give me, the complaining thing is no use. You have to find a solution to a complaint. Okay? So it's not a complaint, it's a request, it's a demand. I mean, we don't have to get personal about it. He's not asking, he has the right to demand. He doesn't have to request. You got it a PR purchase request, but actually it's demand, we got to fulfill the demand. So nothing to get offended. Okay, so he's not doing it because he wants to eat the medicine, right? Patient needs it. You understand? So it's no personal thing. So all of us have to understand we are doing the job for the patient. So I have a film to explain supply chain very simply, and it goes beyond input materials. See, this is only input material. There's so many other things which are beyond input materials. So I hope you know that. I don't know whether you are handling the services. Do you handle the AMC or the air conditioning? Do you handle the oxygen supply? Do you handle the DG side servicing, the fuel, all those things. So besides this, the whole thing has to work, right?
Welcome to Supply Chain Management. Now I know most of you have spent your childhood evenings dreaming of taking your first supply chain management course. But for those handful of you who might not know what supply chain management is, let me provide you a brief explanation. Let's take a simple product, like a bottle of water. Clean water, a plastic bottle, a plastic cap, and a label. Buying them at the store or vending machine might cost you about $1.50. How much of that do you think is profit? Nope. Wrong. Wrong again. Not likely. Water. A plastic bottle and a label. That couldn't cost more than 50 cents. And if you buy them in bulk, how could each bottle not give you at least $1 in profit? Seriously. If you think you can make $1 per bottle, you should drop out of college right now and get into the bottled water business. You see, this right here illustrates one of the most common consumer misconceptions. Product cost is not equal to material cost. And in business, you don't have the luxury of thinking only as a consumer. You need to think like a business executive. Or better yet, an entrepreneur. So, in order to figure out where all that profit went, we need to imagine what it took for that bottle of water to get into your hands. First, you need to negotiate the purchase of the empty bottles and caps. Those bottles will be much easier to transport if they're in boxes. We'll need to shrink wrap those bottles so they don't fall out of the box. We can move a whole lot of boxes quickly if they're all put on pallets. In order to move the pallets, you'll need a forklift, which means you'll need a forklift driver. That forklift will then take the pallet and put it into a truck, which will require a truck, driver, fuel, and insurance. Also, you'll need a label for that bottle of water. Therefore, you need to design the label, print the label, and get the label shipped to the plant. Another truck, driver, more fuel, and insurance. Our water bottling plant won't be free, and neither will the energy it uses. In our bottling plant, we'll have employees and bottling machines, and let's not forget the day-to-day items like light bulbs, garbage bags, machine parts, janitorial supplies, toilet paper, and anything else that will be used at the plant by the employees. Oh yeah, and we'll also need access to the drinking water. Machines will then purify the water. Other machines will bottle the water and affix the labels to the bottles. And still, another set of machines will box, shrink wrap, and then palletize the bottles. In order to move those pallets, again, you'll need a forklift, which means we'll need another forklift driver. That forklift will then take the pallets and put them into trucks headed to the distribution centers. And, as we've seen, those trucks will require drivers, fuel, and insurance. Those distribution centers will also require employees, forklifts, and energy. From the distribution center, they'll head out to retail stores on still another truck, which will require a driver, fuel, and insurance. That store will need employees to unload the truck, stock the bottles of water on the shelf or refrigerator. If you have a refrigerator, you'll of course need energy. If we want to secure our stock, we may get a security guard or a security system. And of course, the store will likely get insurance. Also, imagine the costs associated with returning and replacing bottles that are damaged. Oh, and for some reason, even bottles of water sometimes have 1-800 numbers, which means you'll need a staffed call center to answer the customer's questions about your bottle of water. Wow! All those materials, boxes, people, machines, buildings, energy, fuel, and vehicles, they cost money. Those things weren't free, and they probably weren't used efficiently, and it's likely that several bottles didn't survive the journey to the consumer. Oh, and by the way, the employees at the water company, you know, the ones that work in finance, accounting, marketing, human resources, and IT, they want a paycheck too. So, through that simple example of a super simple product, we're beginning to see that companies face challenges when they buy things, make things, move things, sell things, and service things, which includes repair and maintenance. Oh, and let's not forget, companies need to do all these things using sustainable materials, energy, and methods. Guess whose job it is to make sure that all these things happen flawlessly, with minimal effort, and of course at minimal cost? You guessed it, supply chain managers. The supply chain manager needs to be able to do all of these things. They need to give the customer the product they want, when they want it, as often as they want it, for a reasonable price, while still managing to make a profit. This requires world-class skills and knowledge in the study of supply chain management. there's that scary term again, supply chain management. Let me try to make it friendlier by shuffling around the words. There you go. The management of the chain of supplies. For some reason, that just seems a whole lot easier to understand, doesn't it? But it also helps us understand the complex nature of supply chain management. I mean, the management of the chain of supplies. Now let's think of other products and what their supply chains might encompass. Hamburgers, sweaters, coffee, tables, cars, and airplanes. Now I know many of you are saying, but I live in a service economy. I won't be manufacturing anything. Wrong again. As of 2008, the US was still the #1 exporter of manufactured goods. Okay, maybe not for long. So let's talk about service economy supply chains. Let's think of something you're probably familiar with, the hotel industry. What do hotels manufacture? Lodging experiences, dining experiences, spa experiences, which all together make up vacation and conference experiences. In order to do all of these things effectively and efficiently, what's required? Hotels need to buy things like beds, furniture, televisions, cable, food, soaps, towels. They also make things, or in this case, manufacture services like housekeeping, meals, massages, and special events. Hotels also move things like transporting clean towels and food to and from the rooms, as well as transporting guests and their luggage to and from the airport. They even sell things like in-room movies, internet services, and tickets to events. And finally, they also provide services such as making reservations, organizing events, making wake-up calls, and even cleaning and pressing clothes. Once again, we see that the fundamental skills learned in supply chain management can be used to manufacture service experiences as much as they aid in manufacturing products. Well, I hope that this has given you an idea of what supply chain management is all about. You see, this is the reason why little kids all around the world want to be supply chain managers. They want to take part in manufacturing the best products and services on earth. So again, welcome to supply chain management, where all of your childhood supply chain dreams are about to come true.
So you have an exciting job, not a painful job. Somebody doesn't agree, but unless I don't say you, unless we feel it's exciting and we have passion.
Pain is success. Pain is success.
It's very good. So you heard him, he said the pain is exciting. So that also makes you understand the responsibility that we are taking in the hospital to make sure that the patients are taken care of, correct? So everything comes under your purview. Now before I want to go forward, I think I have 20 minutes more, correct? Now I want some interaction, okay? So can you tell me how you structure your procurement? You must be having structure, no? I don't want to tell you what. You structure your procurement supply chain department, huh? How do you have it? Let's take, do you have procurement, you have planning, you have warehousing, you have distribution. What do you do?
Reorder.
Pardon me?
Basic is reorder.
No, I know, but obviously you can't handle all this by yourself. You have a staff, correct? You have a staff, correct? So now I'm just asking, how do you structure this? You must be having sub-departments. If you call yourself a department, you call it sections or sub-departments. So just let us exchange views, we'll learn from each other. So how do you tell Mr. X to do something, Mr. Y to do something, Mr. Z to do something? How do you decide who will do what? It's only a replenishment. You understand? Replenishment is one aspect. You get a PR, what do you got? A requisition you get? You get a requisition and you're servicing the requisition. That is basic. Like sorry, don't mind my style. Okay? Khana aa gaya and we have to eat it. That is basic. You require something and it came. That's your basic need, basic fulfillment. What are we doing about that? The basic thing we are doing. So So what are we doing or what can we do? So how do you decide it? Do you have a department which handles certain types of medication? Yeah, so that I want to hear.
Set of process.
One for Pharma and then for general.
No, so you can pass the mic here. Okay, let him finish. You can speak louder if you don't know. This is one more mic. No, so that others can hear. No, I can hear, but others can. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we have SCM department, supply chain management. One person will be heading the department. We have separate department of procurement as well as inventory part.
Very good.
Inventory part we have separate. That is one central receiving point will be there. For pharma separate and for general like cleaning and stationery.
So okay, so that is for receipt. What do you do for procurement?
Procurement part I will show separate team. Separate for pharma, separate for consumables and separate for the general items. And we separate team for biomedical equipment also. We generate the high.
So you have different subsections in procurement?
Yeah, yes sir.
Perfect. So we'll go for procurement first, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Somebody took the mic. No, he's taking the mic. Go ahead, no? Please participate. There's no right or wrong. We are just participating.
So, with procurement in terms basic, you said that already setups are there, basics are there. But in terms of procurement, in our setup, like we use on the ERP SAP. So in SAP, because of the GST in place, we have two plants. One is IPD, one is OPD. Because of the taxation structure that we all know.
Yeah.
So we have a team, dedicated team. If a requisition comes for IPD plant, so certain person is responsible to execute it. If it comes for the OPD, then other person is responsible for to execute it. And there is one more person who follows it, that whether the PO respective PO is received to the supplier or not. There is one person also who sometimes we get the information from the supplier that yes, this is short from the company, but we don't believe it because it has came into the notice that most of the time suppliers tells a lie because of maybe then when we call to the company people, we get to know that he was having some payment issues or something like that. So we have a complete structure right from receiving the requisitions to delegating the IPD OPD requirement to respective team and then ensuring that we reach to the to the respective supplier. And then there is a warehouse team who actually gives up the information that yes, all is in place, we are receiving it.
So I want to get more narrow on the question. Okay. Only procurement. You divide the team. Like you said, you have pharmacy and you have consumables and you have equipment. Right? Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah. Who that? Yeah.
So healthcare supply chain is a vast domain wherein all the requirements which are come into a hospital are consolidated, starting from the patient consumption, departmental consumption, whatever is being needed by the hospital in terms of patient consumption as well as the internal consumption is being consolidated. So this is a large domain. This should be ideally bifurcated into two domains. One is procurement, one is operations management. If we talk about procurement, the procurement should be bifurcated into pharma procurement, medical consumable procurement. Implants can also be a part of medical consumable procurement. Then we should have non-medical procurement and then capex procurement. These are the verticals in which we should bifurcate our procurement vertical. Then there are various tools using HIS, using software which you should adopt for doing your procurement activities. But your question was that how to bifurcate the procurement. This is the ideal way to bifurcate the procurement.
Excellent. Anybody else wants to, let's say, improve on this? We started one level, another level, all different. You can improve.
So further to break down the procurement. So procurement, as far as we categorize into three different segments. One is the one into procurement who negotiates the rate, the one who are merchandiser or the one who procures, and the third part is the receiving part into the procurement. Okay. And then there will be different set of PR raising which comes under the operations part. So these will be the basically three categories into the procurement part.
So just to understand, so what this gentleman says that one is kind of strategy and the other one is transaction, correct? We just saw something. Or operational, correct? We are talking about 2 to 3 levels, correct? So transaction, tactical and transactional. Okay? So, but the division I think is quite clear here. You have pharmacy, I'm using your term, okay? I'll just tell you what term pharma industry is. We have direct material. Direct means everything that goes into the product. Okay, everything that goes into the product. So it's raw material, packing material, that is direct material. Indirect material, inside the direct material you will have raw material, whether it's API, excipient, packing material, like that, subdivision. Then you have indirect material. Indirect material will have capex, okay, then you have consumables, and you have services. I'm just trying to simplify, but you can adapt it, but the structure would be similar. Right? Why do I say that? Because the skill set to procure each of these categories may be different. If you are heading, you know, you're supposed to know everything. But the skill set to procure each of, I'm not talking about paper processing of PR and PO, okay? That is, I'm not discussing that part. That is understood. It doesn't matter who does it. That's just processing. Who will take decision? How do you know there's a new vendor? How will you know there's a new vendor, there's a new manufacturer, there's a new... See, these are value adds which supply chain can give to the company. The new product, new vendor, same product but new vendor, new manufacturer, new distributor. Maybe imported product is come, maybe it's superior, or maybe not superior. You may have using an imported product, but you have a domestic product which is as good. Maybe same price but available off the shelf. The different one is